Segmentation is arguably going to be the difference between making hundreds of thousands of dollars and losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is going to be helpful regardless of whether you have 100,000 people on your list or 1,000 people on your list. I'm going to make it super clear on exactly what segments you should be using because too many people are diluting this and losing so much money just by sending the wrong strategic segments. So within this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly who to send to, why those segments are important, and the strategies to use with those segments. So let's jump into the back end. All right, so I have broken down exactly what segments to build out, and these are there now, and I'm going to go into the Klaviyo backend and build them out with you. So don't worry about the definitions just yet, but these are them. So purchased only once, repeat purchases, purchased at least once over all time, engaged 120 days, which most people have, engaged 120 days, no purchase, purchased at least once and has not purchased in the last 90 days. So that's a win back segment. And then people who have abandoned the cart or the checkout and have not converted. Now, there's a few things that all of these segments tell us and the reason why they're so important. And the main thing about this is the fact that the people that have only purchased once, this is what it shows us. It indicates that there's a weak post-purchase flow. So generally, when people have only ever purchased once, it's rarely a price issue. If it is, that's something you need to figure out, and obviously that is something that you'll have to do a bit of testing on. But most times, 90% of the time, the reason why people do not purchase again is because number one, they didn't have an incredible experience, and number two, which is most common, especially with wellness brands, is that they did not know how to use the product correctly to get the most out of it. I have this personally in most products that I purchase. You get a little bit of, buyer's remorse afterwards. You don't want to be wrong about your purchase. And so you start doubting, okay, is this actually going to work? Does it do what it says it will do? And the best way to prevent this is to make sure you have a really strong post-purchase flow. I have another video about this that I'll link somewhere, but go and watch that video on how to build an effective post-purchase flow. Now, people that have only purchased once, there's nothing wrong, but there is a symptom. It's a showcase that there are symptoms of things that are wrong. And so the weak post-purchase flow is the first thing. The next thing that you could be doing with this list, though, is you should be hitting them with deals and incentives. They're the hottest lead that you're going to have, and you've already spent to acquire these customers. So this is your priority list. These people have spent with you at least once, and so you need to make sure to focus on this list with your campaigns and build strategy around them. Usually what you should be doing is hit them with deals, and I'll come to that shortly. Next up, we have repeat purchases. These are people that have purchased at least twice or more times. And the best part about this list is these are obviously your loyal customers. Now, what you want to do is you do not want to send them too heavy discounts. They're already going to buy from you. You do not want to damage your margins. Otherwise, long term, it is really going to impact your brand. Instead, you want to cultivate a good relationship with these people through value and education. And as a byproduct of that, they stay committed to you. The next thing you want to do, which I haven't listed here, is you want to push them towards subscriptions. Okay. So you want to make sure that they subscribe and save. And those are the kind of campaigns that you're going to push towards these customers specifically. The next most important thing that I don't see enough is people sending test offers to this group. So although you don't want to discount them too heavily, they're also the most reliable group that will give you unbiased data on what sales are most appealing and will convert the most amount of people. So generally what you want to do is you want to split test some offers to them over the next few weeks or months. What we do is we'll take a client's customer base, we'll create the segment, and we'll split test $1 off versus a percentage off this month to this segment specifically. We'll then take the winner of whatever won that verse, and we will go and send that to the purchase only once, because we know there's a higher likelihood that they're going to convert on that proven offer. And you can do multiple rounds. Generally, we do about 4 or 5 rounds where we test a $1 off versus a percentage off. Then we test the winner against a free shipping. Then we test that winner against a spend X, get X, etc., etc. There's so many different ways to do it. But this is the most effective group that you should be split testing offers to, but also making sure you're not discounting your brand heavily. This should be an intentional group of reach out. Next up, we have purchased at least once over all time. Now, The reason we do this is because this list is just generally a combination of these two, and figuring out what that combined number is and making sure to hit them with promos and plain text emails is really important. So although you don't want to hit this group with too many discounts, and this group you kind of do, you want to make sure you have a happy medium of sometimes sending to all of the people that have ever purchased, regardless of when it was, and make sure that you hit them with some plain text emails. They're the highest converting non-sales campaigns that you can send out. And so it's just going to be incredibly valuable to give them that personability and keep them in touch with the brand. And of course, this is the hottest list you have. You have spent a ton of money on ads probably to acquire these people and get a conversion. Now the focus should be on increasing frequency of purchase, repeat purchase, and AOV. That is the next focus. So just make a note of that, AOV and repeat. Okay, repeat purchase are super important. So that is a really low-hanging group to focus on. Next up, of course, we have engaged 120 days. And this is generally when they have opened an email in the last 120 days, at least 3 times. That is our definition. You can adjust it to whatever you want. But with this, they should get almost every single email that you send out. This is the highest engaged group, and you want to keep them up to date, and you want to consistently use this as a practice field for understanding what non-discount campaigns perform best, so that you can build those out in flows and also reuse them later down the line. This list is also the best to utilize to improve your deliverability. So strategically, if your deliverability ever dips, you want to pause everything else and you just want to send to this engaged list, and you want to send them plain text emails. Next up, we have the people in this engaged list that have never made a purchase. Now, what's interesting about this group that most people never create this segment, and trust me, I've audited hundreds and hundreds of email accounts, and in the last 8 years, I've probably seen this maybe 3 times total. The crazy thing about that is you're consistently sending to this group, but you're not understanding them better. And in this group, there's going to be a ton of people that have not purchased. So what is actually the utility of sending to this group? What is the purpose of sending to them if very few, let's just say 10% of them only are converting? And that's where we have to build a little bit more of a strategic approach. These people are just on the verge of conversion, and depending on how high this number is of engaged non-purchases, it's going to tell you a lot about the fact that, number one, your content might not be engaging enough, and number two, you need to test different offers on this group as well. So you can repeat the best offer that you figured out from this group, and you can then run it over to this one. So you can just repeat the process and send it to this grouping as well. Now, this could just be a case of you need to improve your content, of course, but at the end of the day, these people are paying attention to everything that you send. So you need to include them in as many sends as possible, but also make them intentional. Try different campaign types. Maybe you're only seeing educational campaigns, and they're not converting. Try and send a text only. Try and send a newsletter to them. Try and figure out what the pain point is and why they don't trust you enough. It is not good enough to just have a list of people. You want them converting, otherwise they're just costing you on your bill. Next up, we have people that purchase at least once and not purchase in the last 90 days. This, of course, indicates a win-back flow weakness. These are the people that need win-back offers, and they might need another touch point. What we do for another brand is we actually send SMSs to these people and push notifications. This generally wins them back because it is a huge segment of people that obviously have lapsed over time. And if they're not paying attention to email and they're still not converting over this time, we want to figure out why that is and maybe add some touch points, try different campaigns, try different offers like before. And of course, we want to build a really high converting flow as well. Lastly, we have the abandonments. And these are people that have abandoned a cart and a checkout, but not placed an order. This is, of course, going to indicate gaps in your flows, specifically your abandonment series. So your cart and your checkout. This is a great indicator that perhaps you should go and re-look at the data and start running split tests. Too many people overlook this and do not do it enough. You need to go and assess what split tests will work. Change, and I'm not talking about subject lines, by the way. I'm talking about adding different elements in the email. So do a shorter email as a cart abandonment and do a plain text email versus an image based, then try reviews versus bestseller sections. You need to be running actually effective split tests, and that is the best way to go. And then of course you want to probably add another touch point to these people as well. If they didn't convert because of your emails, look, it could be an offer, a weak offer that is an abandonment offer, or it could be the fact that you just need another touch point and to be a little bit more aggressive. So these are some of the segments that you should be creating. Now, if we go into Klaviyo's backend and we go to the create segment, I'm going to build them with you. So let's start at the top with the purchased only once. So only once. And the way to do this is place an order equals 1 over all time. Okay, we're going to go and create that. That's perfect. Then what we're going to do is we're going to clone this and we're going to say purchased, let's say repeat purchases. Place an order is at least 2 over all time. And you can see how dramatic the difference is. So initially it was 320,000 or 370,000 people, and now it's only 87,000 people that are repeat purchases. That tells us that over a third of the list has become a repeat purchase, or under a third of the list has become repeat purchases, which means another 66% of the list needs to become a repeat purchaser. That is low-hanging fruit to build a strategy around. So let's go and clone that. Next up, let's go and create we can do the purchase at least once over all time, but I won't do that one because it is a little bit of a redundancy. So next up, we just want to go and create the engage 120 days. And the way that we do it is we do want to do open email is at least 3. And we say in the last 120 days. And something that everyone skips over is whether or not these people can receive email marketing. So many times do we send to people that have not opted in, and it's going to really cause some issues. So this, I'll leave it up to you whether you do this or not. But let's go and do this, and we are then going to do non-purchases. So now we're going to create an additional and we're going to say place an order 0 times in the last 120 days. We just want to make sure it is 120 days specific. So see how crazy that is. We have 265,000 people that are engaging, and of those people, only 10,000 have actually purchased. That is an insane amount of lost potential that we're just not focusing on, or this client is not focusing on. And so that is a huge issue. Now let's go to clone again, and this time we want to do our win backs. Now this is going to be interesting. Purchase at least once, or let's just say, let's name it a win back. Okay, we're going to name this win back. We're going to say, we're just going to delete all of these. I'm going to say place an order at least once over all time, and then place an order 0 times in the last 90 days. And if we really want to be fair to ourselves, we can do obviously place an order at least once in the last, let's just say 180 days. And these are now the win backs, right? So this is much smaller if you just do in the last 180 days, or let's just do 365, so in the last year. So we can go ahead and do that, and these are the win back opportunities that are way higher intended that we should be focusing on a lot more. And then the last one is abandonments. Now this is going to tell us a lot, and I'm sure you will be curious about this as well. Okay, abandonments, no purchase. Let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to say add to cart at least once. Again, let's just be fair and say in the last 180 days. Or what someone has done, checkout started at least once in the last 180 days. And is the most important part to add here, place an order 0 times in the last 180 days. Now, there's 13,600 people that have taken that final step of almost entering in their information, but they have not converted. That tells me we should continuously hit these people with more strategic offers, keep reminding them, and maybe give them some espresso shot deals. So this is a group of people that we can easily send, hey, a while back you actually added something to your cart. We noticed since then you just haven't paid attention. It's fair enough. So instead, we're kind of doing a blatant and transparent bribe to try and get you back. This is our highest deal for the next 3 hours only. That's what an espresso shot deal is. It's where you immediately give them a short deal that they have to take action, and it increases urgency. Now, these are pretty much the only segments that you need. The issue is so many brands dilute their segmentation by adding too many. They're trying to segment by category. They're trying to segment by whether they purchase this product or that product. It is worth it at some point, but the higher level strategy actually needs to be way broader. We've noticed that when we send to super segmented people, yes, click rates go up, but you're sacrificing revenue. Click rates do not equate to revenue. And if you're hyper segmenting, that's all you're optimizing for is clicks. And that's just a vanity number. That is not the focus. What you really want to be optimizing for is revenue. And of course, for some of the lists, so for example, one important list is pushing these people towards the subscriptions. So that's where you maybe want to get a bit more diluted, and you want to create a list of people that are actually subscribed to your product base that have paused their subscriptions. That's a whole different ballgame. But for now, just to be super simple, you want these. Now, as an additional, like I said, the current backend that I'm in doesn't have subscriptions. But if you were to run subscriptions, what you want is people that are currently subscribed, and then you want a list of people that paused, delayed subscription, and then you want people that have canceled. And then to these people, you obviously want to send renewal ones. This one, you want to make sure that they have a more incentivized offer. And you also want to relook at what offers are currently on the website that makes it a no-brainer to cancel, because so many brands are not doing that. You also should pay attention to this list and exclude them from all of your sends. If people are getting your sends and they subscribe to your product, meaning they're going to get it monthly, the issue with that is that you're reminding them to cancel that subscription. You don't need to convert them. They're already converted. So rather send them very intentional messaging that adds value to their life. That is it. So with that being said, that is a full guide on segmentation. You should have a really clear image of what segments to create, who to send to, and how to send those emails and what to send to them. So with that being said, if you want us to come in and do this entirely for you, and manage the strategy and do the correct sends and focus on these segmentations, then go down below and book in a call, and we'll jump on with you and see whether it's a good fit. But for now, I'll see you in the next one.